Okay. Mosaic off campus, how y'all doing? Y'all are excited. I'm a little nervous now. No pressure, no pressure. Man, you excited to be back? I'm excited to be back. It's been a month. It's been a long month. It's been like a long time, yeah? Too long. A little bit too long. Well, one more thing. Are you excited, not just about being here, but are you excited about the person that you're sitting next to? Yeah? Okay, well, some of you know what's coming, some of you don't. Right now, what I need you to do is I need you to touch your neighbor and say, hey, neighbor. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was the month off. But you out here looking summertime fine. Last month we preached a sermon on singleness. That might be your night. That might not have been your night, but tonight might be. If they were cute, get the number after, not right now. Y'all might get boot up. I'm telling you, God moves quick. He moves so quick. Man, I'm excited about what we are talking about tonight. If you don't know, if this is your first time here with us, my name is Blake. I'm the college pastor at a church in town called Mosaic, and this is Mosaic off campus. This happens once a month. We believe that this is a place you can be authentically fully yourself. That you don't have to come in here with the same, I don't know if they're going to accept me. Trust me, I'm messier than you are. Come on in here. I've been there. I'm from that place. We're all right. You're good in here. You're good. Really, even if you don't believe it all, you're just I'm just checking it out. Cool. I'm glad you're here. So glad that you're here. I know McKaylee is glad that you're here. Yeah, that's right. Man, so this month, not even this month, this semester, we're in this series. I don't know if you know it or not, but it's called Your Next 5 Years. Why did we title it that? Well, we titled it that because most of you in this room, within your next 5 years, you're going to make some of the biggest decisions and choices of your life. Some of y'all are going to graduate college, praise God. Some of y'all are going to find a boo thing, get married, have some babies. Maybe that's 10 years, but maybe it's soon. I don't know. I don't know your timeline. I'm excited for you if that's the thing. Maybe you stay single for a little bit. Maybe you should. Anyway. If you didn't, go watch last month's sermon. You'll get, a word for that. That's what that's about. You'll make a career choice. You're going to decide where you're going to live. You have so many decisions that are all coming at once, and it's not slowing down. You can't prolong it. It's coming. And so what my hope is not that I add more pressure onto you, but that we could help give you some practical steps to make the next 5 years your best 5 years. And not just that, but that these 5 years will set you up for your next 25 years. I believe that this series and the things that we've been talking about can be some stakes in the ground and some moments of nuggets of wisdom for you to hold on to as you traverse the hard parts of life, different difficult things that you've never experienced before, that you didn't get any instruction on. You had no idea what you're doing. Guess what? We're all winging it. It's okay. You're going to be all right. Tonight, if you have a Bible, we are going to be in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, Matthew 25. If you don't know where the book of Matthew is, it will be on the screen. But also, this is a good Bible lesson. It's the first book of the New Testament. So if you see a crazy name, which is like Zephaniah, you're too far. If you're Leviticus, you need to go that way. It's towards the right, Matthew 25, we start in verse 14. Just a little context. To Matthew, I figured I might teach a little before I preach a little bit. Is that okay? Yeah. Some of y'all like that. So I don't know if you know this or not, but each gospel is a little bit different. For some people, it's like, oh my God, why it's different? Things are out of order. I don't know if I trust the Bible. I'm here to help you right now. Listen, write this down. Each book is written by a different person, and each one of those people have a different emphasis and objective in what they're writing about. Y'all following me? Yeah. The book of John, he writes so that you will believe and have life in his name. That's his purpose. So he crafts the book for a purpose, to tell a story a certain way. Luke, he's trying to give you a detailed, step-by-step, moment-by-moment, chronological recollection of Jesus' life and what he's doing. And not just that one, but he has this other book called the book of Acts. It's actually just one big whole thing together, which is the story of who Jesus is and the movement that follows him. That's what the book of Luke is about. Then you got Mark, which is actually kind of like a spoken word storytelling situation, kind of like me right now. It'd be someone telling you stories. Someone wrote it down, and that's actually written by this man named John Mark, who was actually telling the story from the vantage point of Peter, the disciple that cut off the guy's ear. Y'all remember that? He's the only other guy that walked on water, but he just so happens to leave it out of his book. Why do you think that is? It's a good question. You should read your Bible. Last, Matthew. Matthew is actually written by a guy named Levi. His other name is Matthew. I don't know why he did that. Matthew, Levi, Matthew, maybe it's the middle name. I don't know. Anyway, he's a tax collector, and he's writing to these Jewish believers about this Messiah. Jewish believers forever in the past, these Jewish people, they looked forward to this king that was going to come and set all things right. That's what they believed. And what happens in the book of Matthew, what he is doing in this story is actually telling them, hey, this king that you're expecting is going to look a little bit different than you expected. And every single one of his stories and pieces that's in the story is actually him saying, hey, guess what? This kingdom that's coming, that this king is bringing, is going to be different than you expect. It's going to have different people in it that you expect. Gentiles, women, Syrophoenician women, craziness, Samaritans, people that are not Jewish, people that look like me in that thing. Come on, praise God. And all of us, most of us, come on. The people that shouldn't be in, get in. And what he does is he talks about if you're going to be one of those people in that kingdom, that you live your life a certain way. There's some marks to your life. And in this part of where we are, Matthew 25, Jesus has just left the temple. It's his last week of being alive before he goes to the cross. And he goes and he talks to his disciples on the Mount of Olives. And it's called the Olivet Discourse. If you ever hear that, it's a big word you can say. All he is talking on the Mountain of Olives. That's it. I guess they have olives there. But he's telling his disciples, hey, I'm about to leave. I'm about to be out of here. And these are the things that you should expect before I come back. And in Matthew 25, there are actually 3 stories that are being told. The first is a story about these 10 bridesmaids. I've never been a bridesmaid, so I don't know. There's this story of these sheep and some goats, and I've never been much of a sheep or a goat person, but there's this one story in the middle of that one. It's about a master and 3 servants. And each one of these stories is actually talking about certain things that these people that are a part of this kingdom will act like. These bridesmaids are actually people that are watchful, looking forward to the Messiah's return, and they live lives that are prepared. The second is these sheep and goats. They're the ones that are living and loving people that God called them to love, and they actually turn out that they're serving Jesus unknowingly. That's what it says. And in this one, it's about the story of these master and these 3 servants. So as we look, you ought to have enough time. If you're not there, just look on the screen, I guess. But we're going to be Matthew 25, verse 14 through verse 30. Let's get into it. It says, "For it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted to them his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had the 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Now, after a long time, the master of those servants came, and he settled accounts with them. And then he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, 'Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here, I have made 5 talents more.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master.' And he also who had the 2 talents came forward, saying, 'Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. Here, I have made 2 talents more.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master.' He also who had received the 1 talent came forward, saying, 'Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow and gathering where you scattered no seed. So I was afraid. And I went and I hid your talent in the ground. Here, you have what is yours.' But his master answered him, 'You wicked and lazy servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has the 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he who will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." I want to work from the title tonight, "What's Mine Ain't Yours." Touch your neighbor, say, "What's mine ain't yours." I'm about to get the preacher right. What's mine ain't yours. And what's yours better not be mine. That's all I'm saying. What's mine ain't yours. Y'all feeling that? That's a nice title, huh? Y'all like that? What's mine ain't yours. You know, I don't know if you guys know this or not. You probably don't. But for me, I'm an uncle. I have a nephew. He's 1.5. I love him more than anything on the planet. He's my favorite thing. And also, good news, my sister's about to have another son. So I'm about to be double nephewed up out here in these streets. Like, hey, we out here. I can't wait to buy them clothes and match with them. It's going to be beautiful. They're going to be like, these your sons? I'm like, no, I'm Uncle BB. I don't know if y'all know that, but I'm Uncle BB. That's my name, Uncle BB. The thing about this kid, though, the Caden is his name, he refuses to say my name to me still to this day. He'll say it to my parents. He'll say it to my sister. I even get videos of him saying BB. This boy will look me in my eyes and I'll be like, say BB. He'll look at me like this and just smile. Just refuses. He just refuses to do what I want him to do. It just happens like that. If y'all have a secret to that, maybe it's Paw Patrol. I don't know what it is, but you need to go ahead and give it to me. Help me out because I'm trying to get my nephew to say my name. That's it. But you know, a couple weeks ago, I guess it's about a month ago, we had this thing that rolled through Nacogdoches. It's the snowpocalypse, Ice Age, part 4. I don't know how many movies there are. But we had this snowstorm that came, and what happened was it knocked out our power, right? But before then, my sister's power got knocked out. So I got so lucky to spend this entire time frozen with no power with my nephew, which at first seems fun, right? 3 days of your nephew at 1.5. I'm not built up the tolerance for that. I'm not built for that. I'm like, hey, I'm here for the fun. He gets to whining. I'm out. I can't do it. Uncle BB is only for fun, okay? But no, this little boy, what he would do during that time is we have in our house, there's these little, in the living room, there's a set of stairs. And what he likes to do is he likes to go to the stairs and start to walk up them. And I look this little boy in his eyes and I say, you better not. I wish you would, little boy. And he looks at me and smiles and begins to do the thing I told him not to do. He got mad at me. I popped him. He cried a little bit, but it's okay. I didn't want him to hurt himself, okay? This is beside the point. This had nothing to do with the sermon. Okay. But anyway, during this time, I promise I'm getting to a point. During this time, with this little boy, I began to get a little frustrated with him. And not because he's a child, not because he was banging on things all the time, but because he would just get into things he shouldn't have gotten into. I oftentimes will just leave my phone someplace and it will be gone. Where is it? Where's the phone? Where is it? Caden is walking around the house banging the phone against the wall. Caden, give me the phone. Caden, give me the phone, little boy. Snatch it out of his hand, cries instantly. Okay, this is BB's phone. This is not your phone. And see, what I didn't know is my sister got him in this little daycare situation. And what the daycare has done is they actually taught this baby how to talk without his words. Okay, they taught him how to sign. I thought it was really cool to say it that way. But this baby, he signs. He's like, yeah, I know things, okay? And I'm like, yes, babies. So what he does is every time that there's food, and trust me, during this thing, I was eating. That's the one thing I could do. I couldn't watch TV. I was going to eat. So I had these Cheeto Puffs. I was eating them, and all I would see around the corner was him looking at me going like this. Which, I don't know if you know, this means more. And then, so what we try to do, he knows things like, this is please. I think if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I think this is please. But that's what he does. He's just like, please, more, right? Here's the deal. This little boy doesn't say please. That's not what he does. That's not his MO. He walks up on you and is like, mine. More, please. Mine. More. Mine. I literally told him today I was going to preach about him, and my mom was trying to give him some cookies, and she said, see, he can say please. He says it all sweet now. Watch him. Mine. And I think the thing about it is we oftentimes live our life that way. That we're people who we see things that we want, whether that be some cookies, or that be a wife, or a husband, a boo thing, a job, a better situation, a better place to live, just a different thing than what you got, and it's about you. I think that we can get so caught up in the mine, in the me, in the more, that we actually miss this life that God actually designed us to live. Because we've just made it about ourselves. It's just about pleasing ourselves. It's just about saying, hey, God, I want this for my life. Hey, God, this is my life. The way we even talk about it, this is my life, my time, my money, my things, right? That's how we talk about it. And we talk about self-care as this being selfish, actually, just being honest. We talk about like mine. And we live these little bitty lives when God has actually designed us to live these wide open, big, huge lives that mean something. In this sermon series, what I was supposed to do, I was supposed to come in, I was supposed to preach a sermon about money. And what I realized is money is about that big of the actual issue that's at play. Money is just a tool. That's all it is. A piece of paper, it's a piece of paper. It's literally a piece of paper. You can set it on fire, nothing will happen. The government ain't gonna come get you, nothing. It just signifies something. Your time, your talent, your treasure, all of it is actually something that's been given to you to do something with it. But we just think if we just add it more and more and more to ourselves that we're going to be satisfied. But guess what? The more and more and more you get, just the more and more and more you want. That's all it is. Wonder Woman got it right, even though it was a terrible movie. Anyway. I believe tonight that God wants to speak directly into this thing because I do believe that we have settled for stunted lives that don't grow beyond ourselves because we're selfish at times. And my thing is this, I'm 29 years old. I'm 29. And I'm praying that my life has so much more ahead of me, so much bigger ahead of me at the cost of myself. I don't want more for me. I want more for the world. I want more for you guys. I want more for everything I touch. And I don't know about you, but I've lived a life trying to build it for myself, and it was empty. And I believe that God made us to live lives that are poured out for other people, and those are the big lives that mean something. And so tonight, I want to give us some practical steps from this text that we can start to implement into our lives to help us live these big, wide open lives that God created us to live. So, before further ado, the first point to how to live a wide open, big life is to first realize that you're not the master. You're not the master. The verse that I want to open with is verse 14. It says, "For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted them his property." The pronouns tell you, I don't know if you know what a pronoun is, but his is a pronoun. So his shows ownership. Guess what? You're not the master in the story. Don't get it twisted. You don't own anything. God owns everything. Let me say it again for the people in the back. You don't own anything. Anything. Your car, your little car note, you don't own it. You really don't. You paying the bank for it. You don't own it. Your house, you don't own it. Even your health, you don't own it. You don't own it. Your money, nothing. You borrowed it. It's not yours. Don't believe me? I dare you to die. Guess what? Someone else gonna have your stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow. Literally tomorrow, someone will have your stuff. It's not yours, it's on loan. It's just on loan. That's all it is. And if we keep living lives like we get to keep it, that's a pretty empty life. We live these closed fist lives on the things that God gives us instead of living them wide open. The thing that's important for you to notice about this thing, it says that he called his servants and entrusted to them his property. That word there that's key is this word entrusted. So a lot of times we think that God gives us stuff. And what we think by give is like, oh, bet, I got it, it's mine. I can do what I want with it. God gave you that relationship. Oh, I can do what I want with it. Nope. my boo over there right now, okay? Your money, oh, I can do what I want with it. Your time, oh, I can do what I want with it. What you want to study in school, oh, well, it's my life, I can do what I want with it. Nope. No, it's not. Entrusted is different than given. Entrusted means it's been given to you with the expectation that I'm going to get it back because it's going to take trust for me to hand it to you. And my hand is going to want it right back. He went on a journey, right? The part about that is you go on journeys and you come back. He didn't move away. He left with the expectation of coming back. So the thing about it is God has given you things, and at some point, sometime, he's going to want it back. And so because of that, you're not an owner, but rather you're a manager. Your job is just to manage and do right by what God has given you and entrusted to you. That's what it's about. That if we started to live lives where we realized it's not mine, we can live a whole lot bigger. We can give a whole lot more freer. We can believe that God would give us what we needed to do the thing we needed to do, that we wouldn't worry about our test scores. We wouldn't worry about stuff like that. We would just do the thing the best way that we could do it and leave the rest, leave the increase, leave all of it to God. All of it. Why? Because we're not owners, we're managers. Not only that, but it's not just that God just owns your stuff. God owns you. This word here, servant, is not actually servant. It's this word doulos, which means slave. And I know for us in America that word slave has a context to it. And what I want to say is this is not that same context. What I am trying to communicate is that they're owned, that they've been bought. And I don't know if you've read your Bible or not, but it says that you should honor God with your bodies, which is not yours, because you've been bought at a price. That you've been blood bought. That every breath you have is borrowed. That it's not yours. You're not your own. Your life is not your own. And so because of that, we can live open-handed. Whatever you want, God, okay. I think we go wrong when we believe that God is supposed to be the slave to us being the master. God, I wish you would just co-sign the life that I made for myself. Did you not get the memo, God? This was my plan for my life. Hold on. You want me to what? You want me to give what? You want me to date who? You mean I can't date them? But they fine though. Okay, God. God's going to ask things from you. Why? Because it's not yours. It's his. God is looking at you like this. Give it back. Here you go. You got it. I'm watching. Bring it back. But here's the thing about God. He's not a closed-handed God, because here's the issue. No master ever would give slaves anything, especially and leave it. It says that this master left his property to these servants. He gave it to them. That ought to tell you one thing, that we serve a good master. That he's an open-handed master, not a closed-handed one. That he looks at your life and says, hey, I trust you with this. Hey, you got it. Make the right decision. I trust you. I trust you with it. I trust you. A lot of times we say one or two things. I don't want to mess it up though. Or we just act like he didn't give it to us and it's just us. Like them talents that you got in your life are just you. Like you're good at that thing just because you just woke up one day and you were good at it. Not that God breathed that into you and put that into you, put that dream in your heart for you to do the thing that you feel like you were made to do. That's actually God. It's not you. I'm beating a dead horse right now. Let me go going. You're not the master, God is. We're managers. We're not owners. The second point I want to make tonight is not just that we're not masters and not just that we're managers, but that God's given you something. And the point is, you got to work what you got. Work what you got. Verse 15 says, to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. Can we just say thank God for giving us something? Just something. Thank you for life, for health, for a job, for school. To be able to go to college, my God, that's a gift. To have parents that love you, even to have friends that are around you, that's a gift. That's a gift. You act like you just randomly found the people that are around you. You came to college knowing nobody. You didn't know nobody. Not a single friend. Maybe some of you did, but you didn't have a single friend. And you know you're not that social either, okay? They just decided to be around you. Why? Maybe God put them on your heart. Dang, I really want to be their friend. Why? I don't know. They're messy. They don't do their dishes. I don't know why I'm their roommate anyway, but I feel like maybe I'm supposed to be here. Yeah, because God put you. You know what? Let me chill. Okay. I was in somebody's business too hard with the plates. I know I was. It says that he gave them something. And this is the part where there's 3 different servants. One has 5, one has 2, and one has 1. And I think the key to understanding what's actually happening with this text is that it says that he gave to them according to their ability. See, this word ability means ableness. And that's not really a good word. The word actually is this word in Greek, dunamis, which means power. Dunamis is actually where this word dynamite comes from. Power. And not only that, but the word talent is actually not just a standard measure of money. It's a weight. It's a weight of money. And what each talent would actually be is about 20 years' wages. So, just so you know, even the one got a lot. I'm here to tell some of you in this room, you've got a lot. It might look like it's one, but you got a lot. You got more than you think. That he's given it to them according to their power. You know what? I was thinking about this, and normally you hear this story, and it's most of the time you get from the perspective of the one, or you get it from the perspective of the master, or whatever. But as I was reading this thing, I began to think, I was like, you know what? Let's just pretend that I'm in this story. Let's pretend that I'm one of these servants that this master's entrusted something to. And not just that I'm the one, because I'm a self-deprecating person and I don't believe much about myself. Or I'm the two because I'm like in the middle of the road. I'm not him, but I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? But what if I'm the 5? What if I'm the one that got given the most? Do you ever think about that? 20 years wages, 20 times 5, I believe is 100. Am I correct? Yes? I didn't do math. That wasn't my thing. I was a Kines major in college. No, sir. Math ain't it, okay? That's why I ain't got no money to count. I just, anyway, give it to Jesus. Let Jesus take it. It's his anyway. I'm just playing. I knew it was 100. I'm just kidding. I'm good at math. I'm not good at math. So we gave this man 5, 100 years wages. And so let's imagine that even 20 years wages, if you make $50,000 a year, that's $1 million in 20 years. That's $1 million. So imagine that times 5. That's a lot of money, y'all. I don't know about you, but I don't trust myself with a 15. How many millions? I don't trust myself with $1 million. I barely trust myself with money for lunch. Could you imagine being the 5 in that moment? Could you imagine getting that from the master? He goes, hey, I trust you with this. I'd be like, hold on, bro. I don't know if I want all that. That's a lot of pressure. That's just a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. And you want it back because I know you. You want that back from me. And I don't, I like shoes too much. That's not what I do. Would you think about that? The thing I like about this text, actually, even if that was the perspective of the 5, the thing that's the most important is that he gave it according to their power. So what that means is that the 5 had that in him, whether he knew it or not. I don't know who needs to hear this in this room, but what you got in life, you can handle it. You got the power to work what you got. I don't care how hard it is. The reason it's probably hard is because you can carry it. The reason why you got something that someone else don't got is because you can carry it. That the power is in you. Why? Not because you're great. It ain't on you. The master gave it to him. There's some things about it we're going to talk about, but I will say, hey, some of you in here right now, you're looking at people with 1 talent and you got 5 and you're mad. You're mad because you wanted it easier, you wanted it lighter, you wanted an easier way, and God says, easy ain't my way. Easy is not my way. I break the people I use. Why? Because their life means something. Jesus, the one who did everything, who lived the fullest life could ever live, guess what? Weight of the world on his shoulders. Servant. Wash feet. I don't know if you remember the Jesus I'm talking about, but Jesus went through it. He was called a man of sorrows, but he lived the biggest life there ever was. Some of you in here are scared of a hard life, and I'm here to tell you it's because you got 5. You got 5. Work what you got. What's mine ain't yours. You need that for yourself. You need to say, like, my 5 ain't yours. You might have 5. It just looks different. You have the power to carry what he gave you. I know that might seem countercultural. I know that might seem different than what your Bible might say. Guess what? God trusts you. God's given you the Spirit. If you are in Christ, which is what this is talking about, these are servants. They belong to Jesus, okay? If you belong to Jesus, the Spirit is inside of you and empower you to carry whatever you have to carry in life. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how hard it is. Doesn't matter how much you want to quit. Doesn't matter if you think that you got it. Doesn't matter how you feel about it. Doesn't matter what you go through. You got it in you. The power is in you. It says he gave it according to their ability. The prerequisite is he knows what they can carry. He's not giving somebody 5 that can't carry 5. That's why one got 2 and one got 1. I'm on that one. I know I'm talking to somebody right now. I might be talking to me. Stop being mad that God gave you more. Because you got people in this room that wish they had more. They looking at you, wishing that they could have the impact that you have, wishing they could have the influence that you have, wish that they could do the things that you're called and gifted to do in this world. But guess what? You don't want it. Step up. Let's go. You better work what he gave you. You better work what he gave you. Straight up. No more pouting. No more. Because the power is in you. He says it right here. It's right there. Not only that, there's another piece of this. I think there's two sides of that coin. And the other side is this thing about it. It says, he gave them 5, 2, and 1 according to. According to. How does he know what their ability is? He'd have to see it, right? I think that we don't realize that God gives us what he gives us because he watches us. He sees what we're faithful in. He sees what we're not faithful in. Some of you in here want more in your life. You want God to use you more. You want to make more money so that you can give more to his kingdom. You want to be more successful in your school, or I don't know what it is. I don't know what you want. Whatever it is, you can want whatever. You could want more of it. Guess what? He's not going to give you more if you don't take care of what you got. My assumption is that these 3 servants came to work every day, and I bet this one that got 1 was late. I bet he didn't make his bed. He had clothes on the floor. He didn't take care of what he had. Some of you will say, God, I want a house. You don't even take care of your apartment. God, I want to be a nurse. Pass your test. Study. Maybe go study. Maybe, just maybe. God, I want to be successful in business. Okay, save your money. Don't buy that. Don't spend your money on that. Make better decisions. Care about the thing that's in front of you. My mom used to tell me this all the time. Hey, Blake, if you walk past trash on the ground, you'll walk past it in your life. If you don't care about the little things in your life, it will not make dividends on the big things of your life. The Bible says that he who is faithful in little will be faithful in much. He who is dishonest in little will be dishonest in much. Some of you in this room think right now, you think this, you know what? God, I know that you've called me to give my time, my talent, and my treasure. I know you've even called me to support and give to a local church or maybe even bless somebody in my life. But I don't have money for that right now. Guess what? You're never going to have money for something. There's always going to be a pinch on you. Always. Always. Babies are expensive. My sister told me, I don't know myself, but they are. I know they are. A house, expensive. A car, expensive. You have things that are going your entire life. Guess what? If you don't do it now, you won't do it then. We talked about this every single time I've preached. This has been the same thing that's been true. If you can't take care of your single self, how are you going to take care of somebody in a relationship? If you can't take care of the thing that God gave you to steward and to take care of because it's not yours, why would he ever give you more? If you are busted and crusted over here, what makes you think he's going to put makeup on you over here and make you look good when you busted and crusted? If your toes that gross, they're that gross, people are going to talk about you. I'm sorry. I'm just playing. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. But the thing is true. This is the true thing about it. If you don't take care of what you have, and if you don't value what you have, God's not going to give you more. Work what you have, because he's watching. And guess what? One day, he's going to come back to collect. One day he will. We all are going to stand before God, and he's going to say, hey, what did you do with your life I gave you? That borrowed breath that I gave you and you gave it back, what did you do with it? Did you live a life that was for yourself, or did you live it for something bigger than yourself? A life that's small is for themselves, and they don't take care of what they have. Work what you got. Point number 3. I think if we're going to live these big, wide open lives that God's called us to live, we have to stop digging. We got to stop digging. Touch your neighbor and say, stop digging. You know, I just reading the text and just seeing back where we're at. He who received the 5 talents, he went in once and he traded them, right? And he made 5 talents more. And the same thing happened with the 2 talents. It says, but he who had received the 1 talent went and dug in the ground and hid his master's money. Stop digging. You know, I think about this story and I think about how it kind of played out. I'm one of those people that I like movies, I like visuals. I'm in it. Okay, let me see it. All right. Master, 3 servants, 5, 2, 1. Bet, got it. And, even just the way that the story is told, it says that he calls them to himself. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but I got like a sanctified imagination, right? I imagine I got an email, which most of the time I don't check. So anyway, maybe I got a phone call, okay? I got a phone call from the master. Hey, bro, I'm going to need you and 2 of your boys to pull up at the house. I got something to give you. I'm like, okay, bet. Oh, I'm on the way. Hang up, click. Show up, all 3 of us right there. We just waiting. Like, I wonder what he's going to give us. I don't know what's going to happen. Master shows up and he's like, hey, man, I got something for y'all. I got something for you. You ready? I'm excited about it. I'm ready to give it to you. Because this is God's heart towards us when he wants to give anyway, just so you know. Hey, I'm excited to give this to you. Sorry, that was free. I'm excited about this. I'm excited. Hey, bro, come here. Come here. Yeah, come here. Okay, I want you to stand right here. Hey, can you come here too? Yeah, right here. Oh, yeah, you right here. Okay. So I've been watching y'all. I've been watching y'all. And I'm about to leave. I'm going on a trip. Me and my boo about to take off. We're about to just go to the Bahamas, drink some umbrella drinks. This is going to be great, okay? But before I leave, I want to give you something. See, I got these 5 talents for you. There they go. 100 years. Yep, you're welcome. All right, take care of it. I'm going to come back. Okay, you good. You can go sit down. You go, okay. All right, hey, man. I got you. There's 2 talents right there. Take care of it, all right? Hey, man.
Hey.
I was surprised you made it. You're on time today. Awesome. Sweet. Okay, well, here you go. Here's 1, bro. Take care of it. I'll see you later, all right? Could you, just that's funny, but could you imagine that you're standing there and your master, he shows up and he's ready to give you something. And the first guy is there and he gets 5 talents. You're like, whoa, bro, 5 talents, fam? 100 years? That's millions of dollars. About to make it rain out here. I'm excited. And the second guy's like, oh, I'm ready. Okay, it's not 5. Okay, 2 talents. Okay, thank you. And the one is like, I'm just glad I made it here today. Oh, you want to give me something? Okay. What am I supposed to do with this? This is 1. This is 1 talent, bro. He got 5. How come I get the least? And guess what happened? It says that the 5, he got it and he immediately went to work. Immediately. Same as number 2, immediately went to work. But the 1, comparison will rob you from the thing that was supposed to be a gift to you. It's supposed to be a gift to you. It will rob you of what the master wants to give you. You looking at them like, if only I would have gotten 5, or if only I would have gotten 2, but I got this 1. What am I supposed to do with this? You know what? Forget you and forget your gift. I'm going to go bury this. I'm burying it. Fine. I think some of us in this room can get so caught up in looking at someone else's life that we don't realize that we got something. That one that you got's worth something. And here's the deal too. What happens is they go to work and they double what they got except the 1. Guess what? There's no rule of this story that it only could be doubled. There's no rule. Some of you in here got 1 and that's fine. Guess what? You can work the rest of your life and make 20, not just 10. It's about what you make of what you got. But you can't do that if you just start digging. Man, if only I would have got what someone else got. Man, if only I could do what they do. If only be as talented as they are. If only I could have the money that they came from. If only I would have had the background of them. If only I would have had somebody teach me the way to do it. Some of you in here have let insecurity rob you of the life that God made you to live. Looking at somebody else, wishing what you had, what they had, and you missed the life that God put you on this planet to live, to do the thing He put you on this planet to do. Not them. Because guess what? You're going to do something different than both of them. But if you can't see what you have is valuable, you will never live the life that God made you to live. Even if it ain't what you want. Even if it ain't what you want. See, what's mine ain't yours, and what's yours ain't mine. We all got something to work. Not everybody's going to stand on a stage. Not everybody is going to play in front of big lights. Not everybody is going to be able to do the thing. But guess what? What you have is important. You raising kids one day is going to be important. That little bitty thing that you think is that insignificant life that you think you're going to live, guess what? Work it. Work it. Multiply it. Do something with it. There are no rules saying that what you do here with one won't equal more than that person that started with 5. Because guess what? You can't just work it once. You got to continue to work it. You better work your one until it's 20. Work your one. Work your one. Stop digging. Stop living a life that's buried. Stop living a life where you're afraid to live and be the person God made you to be. Stop it. Stop digging. My last point, and I think it's the point for me that kind of makes a lot of it work for me, is this. It's what the servant says when the master comes back. See, the point that I think a lot of us think is that the 5 and the 2, they came back, and I think they might even have thought this, that 5 made 5 more, and he comes to the master and says, hey, master, look what I did. I got 10 now. And he says, hey, good job. Well done. You have been good and faithful with what I've given you. Come enjoy your master's joy. Like, step into the joy of your master, and I'll give you more. More is coming for you. That 2, he shows up, same thing. Hey, I made 4. Here I am. And what we would think would make sense is that God would say, or that master would say, hey, you didn't do as good as this guy over here. Because here's the deal. 4 don't equal 5. He worked what he got and didn't even get to what he started with. The thing that's most important about this text is that if you work what you got and you're faithful with what you got, God will reward you. It's not based on return, it's based on faithfulness. If that 1 would have been faithful with what he had just to make 2, even if it was less than everybody else, he would have got the same thing that the other 2 got. The same thing. The thing that stopped him. The thing that stopped him from living the life that he should have been, to be faithful with the thing that God gave him to be faithful with, was that he knew God to be, this master to be different than those other 2 did. The key to the whole thing is this part. Verse 24. It says, he who had received the 1 talent came forward saying, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering you scattered no seed. So I was afraid. The key word there is, I knew you to be. I knew you to be. Some of you guys in here, the reason why that you have not stepped out in faithfulness to do the thing that God made you to do is because you're afraid of the God who called you. You think that God is looking down from heaven mad at you for not doing something. He's like, I've messed it up before. I showed up late too many times. I don't want to wreck it, so let me just bury it and not do anything with my life. Let me just not mess it up. That's what the dude's energy was. Let me just not mess it up and give him everything back that he gave me. I'll just leave it. It'll all be fine. Okay, all right, here we go. Here you go. Evil and lazy is what that's called. He didn't even use what he gave me, just gave it back to him. Here you go. Same condition. I think if we see God as a God who's open-handed with us and trusts us with his things, and not only that, but he has gifted us to do the thing he gave us the thing to do, we ought to know that he's a God who is for us, who's already bought us, and that because of that relationship, if we just say yes and just step into that, he's going to honor us, he's going to reward us for the faithful thing that we did, even if it's not that much. Even if it's hard to do. I think sometimes we can get so caught up with those insecurities and the comparison and all those things that we miss the life that God made us to live. As John and Heath come back up, I kind of want to just lead us in a moment. I don't know what your background is. I don't know if you grew up in church. I don't know if this is your first time hearing anything ever about Jesus, about anything. But what I want to say is that if you don't know the King, you'll never live the life you're meant to live. You'll never live it. And I don't mean that to be negative. I mean that to be encouraging, because it's not you doing it. It's him in you. It's no longer I who live, but it's Christ who lives in me. That my life, I've been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. That's the verse. That the Spirit of God that is in you is actually calling you and moving you and empowering you to do the thing he called you to do. All you got to do is say yes. But if we know God is something different than what he actually is, we'll just bury what we have and try not to mess it up and live these safe little lives that never risk anything. When God has actually called us to live these radical, risky lives that put it all on the line and say, God, I'm going to give too much. I'm going to love too much. I'm not going to withhold. I'm not going to hold on to bitterness to people that hurt me. I'm going to let it go because you've forgiven me for the things that I've done. I'm going to live open-handed. I'm not going to withhold from people. I'm going to give. I'm going to give my time. I'm going to give my effort. I'm going to give my energy. I'm going to give everything that you gave me. I'm going to give it back. That is a big life. Not one just trying to maintain what you got. Some of you in here mean have the best intentions of the world. That you want to just live this good, nice life where you just do the thing, you get married, you get a house, you do the career thing, and that's fine, that's great. But that is a life that's this big. God has called you to live a life that's big, that's wide open, that's risky, that takes risks, that walks in faith, that does things that you have no business doing. This Spirit that says that is in us, Ephesians says that Spirit that is within us, that's doing that work in us, leads us to things that more than we could ask, imagine, or think. A life bigger than you could ever dream of. A life more important than you could ever think. And it starts with just saying yes to Jesus. Just saying yes. And maybe tonight, it might be the 5th time you've said yes to Jesus. It might be the first time that you even open to a relationship. You're even open to the conversation. But I'm here to tell you, if you say yes, he won't let you down. If you just say yes, God, I feel like I got one right now. But God, I want to use my one. Because I know that you gave it to me in love, you gave it to me. And so I don't know where you're at. But if you're here, if you're open to that, would you close your eyes with me right now? And I'm going to ask us a couple questions. We're going to just think through what it is that God is leading us to step into. I'm going to ask 3 questions. The first is, what is God calling you to stop? What is something in your life that you have been walking in persistently and you know that it's not giving you life, but you continue to walk in it? Maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's fear, maybe it's something you're going to mess something up, that you're not worth something, that you're only ever going to be one, that you're only ever going to do so much. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe God's asking you to stop thinking that. What's God called you to stop? And second is, what is God calling you to start? Some of you in here, for the first time, you actually believe that God actually loves you, actually has good things for you, actually wants to use you to impact this world. What is God calling you to start? And the last is, what is God calling you to believe? Maybe it's about yourself. Maybe it's about him. Maybe it's about the circumstance that you're in right now. What is God calling you to believe? What's he calling you to start? What's he calling you to stop? And what's he calling you to believe?